Lindy West describes herself as a child as a terror-stricken mouse person who went on to become an unflappable human vuvuzela. Remember those? I promise she's way less annoying than that. Her new book, Shrill, Notes from a Loud Woman, chronicles her path of self-discovery, along with a slew of other life lessons. The collection of essays covers her public battle about rape jokes in comedy, an internet troll who actually apologized, and they wholeheartedly embrace the F words: funny, feminism, fat, and that one we can't say on television. Lindy West is a columnist of The Guardian, a contributor to This American Life, founder of the teen advice blog called I Believe You, It's Not Your Fault, and she joins me now. Hello, Lindy. Nice to see you.
Hello. Nice to see you.
Very disappointed you didn't wear your T-shirt, Lord, give me the confidence of a mediocre white man, but you didn't.
It's dirty because I wear it every day.
I would if I were you. So we just talked about Dr. Dow being dragged off a plane. You write in one of your chapters about not fitting on a plane. How horrible is that? I mean, how horrible is that?
I mean, I think that air travel is sort of uniformly nightmarish because you're trapped in this capitalism machine that doesn't care about you. And, you know, I think this story is totally horrific. And I don't know, the fact that an airline can use state violence to protect its profits is very, very frightening to me.
But how about you? The Day I Didn't Fit is one of your chapters.
Yeah, I mean, as a fat person, the experience of flying is just completely dehumanizing. You know, I'm paying for a ticket from here to there, and I'm not accommodated, and I'm not just sort of punished economically by maybe I'm not quite at the point where I have to buy two seats, but often people have to buy two seats. But what I write about mostly is being punished socially. You know, you're sent a very clear message that you're not wanted in public spaces. People resent you for being in public and taking up space. And it's really a myth that people have this much control over their bodies, that I can somehow become a size 4 for my flight to my father's funeral tomorrow. The fact is that people have bodies, and we have to figure out how to accommodate them.
You know, you prefer the word fat. When I was a little kid, I said to you this on the radio, I was a fat kid. If I ever heard the word fat directed at me, I literally crawled into a hole. Like I cannot. One of the reasons you say you don't like euphemisms. Why? I loved euphemisms. When the choice was between a euphemism and being called fat, I take the euphemism every day of the week. Not you. Why?
Well, they're still calling you fat.
Well, they are. I know. But
they're calling you fat, and they're making it very clear that they're uncomfortable with your fatness. I would prefer to remove the stigma, to strip the stigma from the term altogether, and have people not be uncomfortable talking about my body and describing it accurately. When someone that I care about especially uses a euphemism to describe me, they're just like telegraphing so aggressively that they are uncomfortable with my size. And I don't want to feel like that.
But so you feel better if they use the F word in this case? You're okay?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't think that there's anything wrong with being fat, and being afraid of the term implies that you do.
Well, you don't think there's anything wrong with being fat, but a ton of America, I don't mean that as a pun, my apologies, it thinks there is. And the thing I don't get about it, again, having been heavy, I was going to say fat myself as a kid.
But you can use whatever word you want.
Well, I don't even know what word I want to use. But But the reality is 2/3 of our country is overweight, and 1/3 of our country is really fat, is obese. So what is it, self-loathing, to quote Woody Allen when we were still quoting him? I mean, what's that all about?
Is what self-loathing?
I mean, it's the fact that we are a heavy nation and we can't stand heavy or fat people. I mean, we discriminate against them.
Yeah.
How do you explain that when we're them? I mean, really, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's a billion-dollar industry, the diet industry, that sells us our own insecurities and teaches us that being fat is the worst possible thing you can be, and the way you can get out of it is by giving them all of your money and all of your time and all of your energy. So I think, you know, it's sort of, we're indoctrinated into this system where we have a hierarchy of bodies, and certain bodies are more valuable than other bodies, and people buy into it because I think it's, especially if you're at the top end of the hierarchy, that's a safe place to be.
You know, you wrote a piece in Jezebel, was it 2013 or 2015, about rape jokes being inappropriate. It's sort of a rape joke is sort of an oxymoron, I guess you could say. But you got huge blowback on Twitter, Troll City attacking you. Give us a sample. Well, look at the smile. Give us a sample of the kind of crap you had to deal with.
Oh, well, you know, anytime you write about rape, especially if you're fat, a fat woman, or really, though, any woman, the men think that a really clever joke is, why are you worried about rape? No one would ever rape you. So I got about 1 million different variations on you're too fat to rape, which implies, by the way, that the person saying that does have a list of people that they would rape, which was always my follow-up. Like, please provide a list of who you would rape so that I can deliver it to the police, or at least give those women a call. But, I think that conversation was really an issue of, for a long time, comedy had been the domain of men, and they were free to, grind up everyone else's traumas and insecurities and use them however they wanted. And for a woman to step in a country where the conventional wisdom is that women aren't funny and make a point about comedy was very threatening.
Is that why you got off Twitter? If anybody should be on Twitter, I mean, I know you don't need advice from me. You should be on Twitter.
Thank you.
No, I'm serious.
No, I love Twitter, and I was very good at Twitter. But Donald Trump drove me off Twitter, really. I just suddenly, for a couple of reasons. A, I was watching him taunt North Korea about their nuclear program on Twitter, and I was like, maybe I don't want to play this computer game anymore that might start World War III. And also, the election was really disturbing for me and for everyone in my community, and I just feel like in 2017 I want to do my best work, which doesn't involve spending 5 hours a day arguing with 13-year-old boys about
speaking of the election, you wrote a piece November 9th that I read a couple of times. Here's a key point. We as a culture do not take women seriously on a profound level. We do not believe women. We do not trust women. We do not like women. I understand that many men cannot see it, and plenty more do not care, and you go on and on like that. I read that, and I read that several times. And then Nick Kristof was sitting here last night. Nick Kristof interviewed Hillary Clinton, first sit-down interview. In her interview, she went out of her way to say, I had 64% approval when I left the Secretary of State's office. If men are guilty of all those things, they don't like women, they don't trust women, they don't believe women, even Hillary Clinton says herself, she was at 2/3 of approval when she left a pretty serious job. So how does that fit with that?
Well, I mean, I haven't read that interview, so I don't know her take, and I shouldn't comment on it, I guess.
She went on to say, I went from 64% approval by Election Day. It was Typhoid Mary, she said, because they brutalized her so badly.
Because that's what we do. That's how we punish ambitious women. I think enough Americans don't know what a Secretary of State does to be particularly threatened by it. But the idea of having a woman running the country and being the president and telling you what to do every day is terrifying for people. And I think, Hillary had a great approval rating, but she did not win the election despite winning millions more votes. And I think you can't take misogyny out of that equation.
Lindy West, it's great to see you. Your book is terrific, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Shrill by Lindy West. Notes from a Loud Woman.